guys all heard of the wave? We do it in stadiums usually. Yeah? Okay, cool. So front row, I'll start, but if you'll follow me, and then we're gonna go all the way to the back. Okay, ready? Okay, that was good. That was good. I feel like we need a little more enthusiasm. You know, like get up out of your seat a little bit, set yourself down, you know. We gotta make this big. Okay, ready? Okay, wonderful, wonderful. So some of you may know what we just did represents a sine wave. And a sine wave is a smooth wave that has peaks as well as troughs. And a sine wave is a great representation of a STEM journey. Your peaks might be accomplishments in life, happiness, joy, but there's also those troughs, which can be challenges. For me, some of my peaks include going to ISU football games with my dad, traveling. I love traveling. This is at the Eiffel Tower. Or it can be as simple as hanging out with my family, getting orange leaf on the weekends. But there's also those troughs in life. I get homesick and I really miss my sister a lot of the times when I'm here at school. Or it can be as simple as getting a bad grade on a test. But as I said, this journey represents STEM as you go through your life. One of my favorite movies of all times is Hidden Figures. Maybe some of you have seen it. And this movie represents 3 African American women who were contributing to the development of the NASA space program. And the lady in the middle, her name is Katherine Johnson, and she once said, "Girls are capable of doing everything men are capable of doing, and sometimes they have more imagination than men." She is one of my greatest inspirations. Not only did she calculate the trajectory for the space trip in 1961, but she also later did calculations for the moon landing in 1969. And you can't deny it isn't impressive, but I can tell you her success wasn't just handed to her, she had to work for it. Hello, my name is Abigail Schaefer. I'm a junior in aerospace engineering here at Iowa State. A little bit about me, I'm an oldest daughter, so I have one younger sister. I have 2 dogs at my house. I'm from Marion, Iowa. I went to Lindmar High School, if anyone knows where that is. But my story begins a little different than most people. My mom had me halfway through her senior year of high school, really, really young. And my dad was going to college at a different state. So my mom finished her high school degree, we lived with my grandparents, and once she was done, we got up, we left, so my dad could finish his engineering degree in South Dakota. You may ask, why am I telling you this backstory? I want to highlight who my foundation was from the very beginning of my STEM journey. As I developed this speech, I asked a handy-dandy AI source you may have heard of called ChatGPT to list some common STEM characteristics amongst women. Some traits included curiosity, problem-solving skills, collaboration, attention to detail, but in my eyes, the most important were resilience, passion for innovation, adaptability, and leadership. I want everyone in the audience to close your eyes, and I want you to think of a time when you felt you weren't good enough. This might be within a sport, school, friendships, a club, music, anything. And I want you to raise your hand if you have ever felt not good enough at something. Now I want you to all open your eyes and look around. There's plenty of people who have been there with you, and I can tell you I am definitely one of those people. Whether this be something I was doing in childhood activities or even school nowadays, these memories of me not feeling good enough have stuck with me and created an imposter syndrome really early on in my life. And some of you may have heard of this called imposter syndrome or imposter experience. And it's explained when people doubt their abilities and think they aren't as good as they believe they are. I did competitive cheerleading when I was younger, and I would have thoughts that I'm not as good as my teammates, or if I fall out of a stunt and we get second place, it's all my fault. And that can really put a big weight on your shoulders. And I've tried very few sports because I have no hand-eye coordination. My parents put me in soccer when I was little. They pulled me after like half a season because they told me I looked like a lost puppy on the field. And they were like, yeah, no, we're done watching you. And so they were like, yeah, put her back in cheer. And so I never really had activities come to me as easy as maybe other people. I had to practice constantly to get good. I did violin when I was in 5th grade, started early. I did not practice enough, and I was never first chair really. There was a few times, where my hard work might have paid off, but I had these people walking up and I was like, oh my gosh, I feel like they could have been Beethoven. Like, they were really good. And that can get really draining, thinking, I'm not as good enough as this other person or something along those lines. And I'd like to think I fall to this whole oldest daughter syndrome. Maybe you've heard of it. Granted, I check the boxes of caretaking. I like to make sure everyone's okay. I juggle all my responsibilities, whether that be in my social life or school. And I try to be the best I can be in hobbies and even just academics, which is driven by this inner voice within me telling me I have to be perfect at all times. And sometimes this is as simple as wanting to get a 100% on my homework assignment. Or it can be me doing my half marathon over the summer and being like, yeah, no walking, even though if I walked, I'd still get to the finish line just as if I would run. It's more or less me kind of being stubborn and feeling like I'm gonna fail. And sometimes when I don't meet these high expectations, I feel a heavy weight of disappointment, like I'm letting myself down or even other people. Just last week, I was outside this room, if you go down the hallway, and I was sitting there, and I was calling my mom because I literally thought my world was shattering because I thought school was going horribly. I called her and I was like, Mom, I don't know what to do. I'm not gonna be able to become an aerospace engineer because I can't pass this one test. And I took the test the next day. I did pretty good on it, which is besides the point, but it's also a-okay to kind of feel when you're down in the slumps, because you will get somewhere. And I'm here today, speaking in front of all of you, and today has been one of the best days of my week. But, as I said, I'm a-okay, but it takes a little time to kind of get over that. And maybe you felt something similar. These traits can be defeating. Imposter syndrome often correlates to self-doubt, your fear of failure, overworking, and downplaying your achievements. And some experts even say that 80% of people have experienced imposter syndrome at some point within their life. And I can tell you, I am definitely a part of that 80% of people. Academically, though, is the most challenging for me to combat. I've always been the type of person who wants to do really good on tests. Just get that grade, move on, or maybe you've heard the term C's get degrees. I'm not that person. I want to get an A in every class if I can. And that really can put another heavy weight on my shoulders. And there's been times where I study for an exam, I feel ready for that exam. I walk in, I sit down, I'm like, okay, yeah, I got this. I look at the exam and I'm like, ooh, I have no idea what any of this means. And then I take the exam and I'm like, yeah, no, that didn't get good. And then I'm like, okay, well, that was a test. And that's all I have to say about that. And I get that failing grade back. And this is my face when I think I do well and then I really don't. And I remember that first time I got an F on a test. It was Calculus 2. It was my third exam. And I walked out and I called my dad. I was like, yeah, so that did not go good whatsoever. And I got below a 50%. And I can tell you I ended that class still with a B. So it's totally okay to kind of feel like maybe you aren't good enough at school sometimes. Because I can tell you, you will definitely have those peaks in that sine wave that will make up for it. Just recently, I took an aerospace exam. I got a 98% on it, one of the highest in the classes. Wonderful, great. And that was a really good reminder to myself that what I am doing for my major is perfect for me. And even though when I get those bad grades, it kind of hurts my ego a little bit, I get up, I go to class the next day, and I remind myself that that one grade definitely does not define my worth nor my knowledge. If we think back to earlier, I mentioned my parents. They have always been my biggest cheerleaders. And whenever I don't feel good enough, I call them, just as I did last week. And I call them quite a bit. I called my mom like 3 times yesterday, just telling her like, hey, I just want to update you, I went on a walk. And it's fine to have those people who really just build you up and support you. And even though imposter syndrome still lingers within me, it is a part of my STEM journey. And as I described within that sine wave, you'll have those peaks, but you'll also have those troughs. And another key component I have learned as I've gotten older is to recognize who your support system is. Having that support system is crucial in so many ways. When you need advice, there's someone to ask. When you need someone to build you up a little bit, you have someone there to help you. And these individuals can add different perspectives on different scenarios, especially if you're feeling like a negative Nelly maybe, and you just need someone to be your positive Patty. But finding a support system within STEM as a woman can sometimes be quite challenging. My advice to you is to find people who do bring you up, and we don't need people to tear you down because we don't need any bad voodoo here or anything like that. And some people part of my support system include my friends, my parents, my family members, my dogs, but also Wise here. You can ask any of the staff members here today if I've gone up to them to ask for advice, complain, grant, any of the such, and I will bet you all money they will say yes. And my support system has helped me reach my peaks in my sine waves and kept me going when I hit those troughs. I would like you all to think of someone who is a part of your support system, and I'm gonna give you guys 2 minutes to get up, try to meet someone new, and explain to them who your support system is. Sound good? Ready, set, go. Yeah, that's what you too. Okay, if you guys want to slowly start getting back to your seats and then we can kick off. Okay, as you all continue your journey through STEM, don't forget to ask for help. As hard as it can be sometimes, and trust me, I know, asking for help is one of the most essential skills you can have. Along with asking for help, try to put yourself out of your comfort zone. It doesn't need to be academically, it can be as simple as socially. For me this past summer, I told myself I wanted to meet way more people at my summer job and try some new activities. So up on the screen you can see I tried pickleball, and even though I'm horrible at hand-eye coordination, I actually do okay. I can, hit the ball, and that's like a really big goal for me. But I also tried line dancing. I never thought I'd like line dancing. Someone dragged me along, and then that first day I was like, wait, this is really good. And so I definitely challenge you to try something new. I know all of you and myself will be successful in life one way or another, and your dreams are always within reach, but also redefining your dreams is okay. So I want you all to think back when you were in kindergarten. What did you want to be? Maybe it was a teacher, an astronaut, I don't know. For me, I really wanted to be an artist, like really bad. I thought I was like the best. I would like color in art class, and I was like, wow, so she's Picasso. And I was like, oh, okay, yes. So what did I do? My 9th grade birthday, it was my golden birthday party. My mom hosted the most awesome party for me. We had like pretzel sticks as like paintbrushes, and I was like, yeah, so I'm gonna be an artist for the rest of my life, and that's end story. And then I was like, in high school, no, I actually don't really want to be an artist, so I found something different. I was like, yes, a baker, even better. So now I can make sweet treats and eat them. So during COVID, I baked all the time. And then my mom was like, okay, I love your baking, but you put way too many sweet treats in our house, so you need to like sell them. So I opened an online bakery during COVID. That way I could earn money for college and still bake. But then I was like approaching my senior year of high school, I was like, yeah, I don't think I really want to open a bakery. So then I thought I'll be a physical therapist, really different too. I really liked physical therapy because as a kid, I had plenty of physical therapists and I loved how they gave back to the community. So I did a job shadow. I was in that physical therapy room with a patient. They were doing acupuncture, if anyone knows what that is. And I was like, ooh, I don't feel really good. I got really, really queasy and I decided, yeah, so I don't think physical therapy is for me anymore. And so my dreams have changed quite a bit since I was a kid, even in senior year of high school. For my future job, I want to work at an aerospace company where I can be a systems engineer. And starting this summer, I'm going to be able to do a co-op, which means I'll work throughout the entire summer and next fall. So I'm not going to go back to school next fall. And then the semester after that, I am going to study abroad in Europe, in Delft, Netherlands, and attend an aerospace engineering school in the Netherlands. And that's really, really cool, but also really scary because I'm gonna be away from ISU for an entire year, which means that I'm gonna have to come back an entire 5th year, which if you ask some engineers are like, oh, I don't wanna do a 5th year, like that's so long. But for me, that was perfect because that's what helped me get to my goals. As you see up here on the screen, I've worked at Collins Aerospace 2 summers now, being a systems engineering intern, and I've loved every minute of it. And it has been wonderful, and this is where I'm actually going to be doing my co-op at as well. So if you think back to 100 years ago, only 1% of women had STEM degrees. Nowadays, 12.3 million women are working in the STEM workforce, which is great and wonderful. And just 2 weeks ago, I had the opportunity to travel to Chicago, Illinois, to attend the National Society of Women Engineers, also known as SWE, conference. And here there was over 20,000 different attendees for women Going to career fairs, we were learning about different things in different sessions, about how to do STEM with younger children, or anything like that. And it was a great opportunity and reminder to myself that there are so many other women out there helping you along the way. As we wrap up, I want you to all remember that the journey in STEM has its ups and downs, just as that sine waves does. But if you want to be in STEM, there is 100% a place for you, and you are more than capable of doing it. Thank you for listening.
Awesome, thank you, Abigail. We do have a little bit of time before I send you off to your first session. So we have time for questions, and Beth, over here, she's got a mic. If you have any questions, just put your hand up, and we do have little giveaways for those that ask questions. All right. Oh, we see some hands up.
Not yet. Okay.
Do you still like to draw?
I love to draw. I just drew actually the past week. I drew like a little butterfly, like charcoal kind of thing. So I kind of put it into a hobby, instead of like what I want to do for my workforce.
I also enjoy baking. I bake for like weddings and things. What was your favorite thing to make?
Macarons is like my go-to thing to make.
What is your favorite thing about engineering?
My favorite thing, I think, is when you have a really hard problem and then you figure it out and you're like, okay, yeah, I did that. That's my favorite.
If you could be a baker again, would you?
Probably. Maybe when I'm like retired and I'm like, ooh, no more engineering, I'd probably open my own baking business.
What was your favorite thing to bake?
Other than macaroons, I don't know, cake pops too. Those are good.
What was like the hardest thing about engineering for you?
I think being able to understand that failure is okay, because sometimes you do get like bad grades or you just don't feel as good, but you get up the next day.
I'm a little slow. Can you explain what your job is?
Like my systems engineering? Yes, of course. Systems engineering is kind of like you take all engineering and put it together. So I might have someone who's like an electrical engineer and give me a system, and then I go and test it, and I find what's wrong with it, like I purposely try to break it, and then I give it back to that electrical engineer and be like, can you fix this for me? Thank you. So that's what I do.
I got one more gift, so this is the last question. I'm gonna go to people who gave me a really early this morning.
What made you make such a big jump from physical therapy to aerospace engineering?
I really convinced myself that I was going to be a medical person. I loved Grey's Anatomy, and I was like, yeah, that's me for sure. But then when I kind of almost passed out watching acupuncture, I was like, ooh, yeah, no. And then I've always been good at STEM or science and math, I guess, specifically when I was in high school. So my parents told me to try an engineering course my senior year of high school. I took it, and I loved it. And then I took an aerospace engineering course the next semester, and I was like, oh wait, I kind of like planes and rockets. I think this is kind of cool. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna go into that.
Awesome, thank you all for your questions, and if you're staying for our STEM panel, we'll have more time for student questions as well. So let's give it up for Abigail one more time.